really grateful to God to have blessed me to this level. I'm in an industry that people didn't perceive to be professional, or either for people who failed in school. Can I be that designer that Kenyan young people or youth can say, Mom, Dad, there's Akinyi Odongo.
Yes.
I'm living my legacy. I can testify that the young people have potential, but we need to keep pushing it and telling them you have to work.
I've gone through your album and I've seen you've dressed very high profile people in this country. You know, from the First Lady to almost every high-end person. Hi everyone, welcome back to our show, Walk the Talk Show, where we talk about real life, real people, real stories here. We thank God for this moment. I hope you're keeping safe. I hope you're wearing your mask correctly, not under the chin. I hope you're washing your hands thoroughly with soap and water. And I hope you're watching the government protocols that you've been given by Ministry of Health. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, please make sure you do, and make sure that you have the notification button so that you don't miss any other show. Today we have one of the amazing people that I know in life that has really gone against the odds during this season. The masks that I've been wearing, and everyone is asking me, whether in the estate, whether everywhere is like, oh, where did you get that mask from? And I'm like, you want to know her? Yeah, her name is Akinyi, and she's made in Kenya. Not just that. I know it's gonna sound funny, but let's hear her story. Welcome so much, Akinyi, to our show. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
And Akinyi is the chair of Kenya Fashion Council. Initially, I remember some years ago, we used to wonder that, do we have a council, you know? And one of the things I remember my auntie telling me is that I want you to be a fashion designer. Well, what? Fashion designer, that is not for educated people. So initially, I know this industry was taken for fundis, those who never went to school, those who were not doing very well. And I had that notion. I said, well, wait until I got into this shop and I realized, wow, this is just for the landed, and this is just out of this world. Akinyi has dressed everybody. She's an award-winning, she's a coach, she's a life coach, she's training people. She also has for kids, and I know I'm also going to enroll my child there so that she can learn these things. My daughter has been like, I want to be a fashion designer. I had my own reservations earlier, but she made me believe that, yeah, this is an industry that anybody else can join. So welcome very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Tell us about yourself.
Where do I start?
From military. And deciding not to be a militant and come here and join fashion design. Yes.
My name is Akinyi Odongo. As you've just done a very fantastic introduction to myself, I was like, who is that? Is that me? And I'm glad that you also mentioned your daughter, that she wants to be, I've just met her and she's going to enroll to our program.
Yes.
I'm really grateful to God to have blessed me to this level. I'm in an industry that people didn't perceive to be professional, or either for people who failed in school, or it's not a profession like any other. But I'm here as a testimony that can testify that fashion is a business. Fashion is you can actually live out of fashion, and no one should ever look down upon a fashion designer. I went to Evelyn's College of Design to train.
That's in Kenya.
So I think what you meant by I am made in Kenya.
That is what I meant, because when I look at your outfits, and I've seen most of the designs have been worn out of this country, initially I would think you never went to school in Kenya.
Yeah, I get that a lot, especially when I go to either Europe or America, in most of the platforms that I've been able to be in. One of the questions that people ask is, where did you train? Are you sure you trained? I said, I trained in Kenya. They're like, are you sure you trained in Kenya? I'm like, yeah. Are you sure this product is from Africa? I'm like, yeah, it's from Africa. So for me, as a brand, I felt that there's a need to showcase Kenya and also to speak the positive African Kenyan story, and to tell our fashion story and our fashion journey. From a one-man show where I was everything, and I was the accountant, everything, the fundi, the accountant, the designer, and all that, and just been able to see how God has been able to walk with me through the years, and one bit by bit building onto the blocks to the level where I'm also able to mentor others into growing their businesses. So yeah, I am a fully made in Kenya product in regard to my education, in regard to my market. My biggest market is Kenya. And I'm also thanking God that Kenyans are actually appreciating what is done locally, and Kenyans are looking for quality. And for us to be able to also be a mentor or somebody that the younger generation look up to is for us doing our work properly, professionally, and doing it well. One of the challenges that I know has been around for quite a long time is, even me when I was getting into the fashion industry, my parents could ask me, show me one. Show me one successful designer. So with that in my mind, as I grew and building my business, I made a deliberate decision that, God, may I be that person that a younger person will be asked by a parent, show me one designer who is successful. Then I'll say, I'll allow you to do the fashion and design. And I say, can I be that designer that Kenyan young people or youth can say, Mom, Dad, there's Akinyi Odongo, you know? And for me, that has really been a blessing for me to see other kids are able to come for mentorship, for coaching, and parents accepting, and also just being that the go-to person for the younger generation in regard to the creative industry. So I'm leaving my legacy.
I'd be very shocked, because one of the things I was wondering is, I've gone through your album and I've seen you've dressed very high profile people in this country, you know, from the First Lady to almost every high-end person. One of the things we just wanted to ask right now is, how did you break into the market? How are you able to break into this market where people feel, oh, she's only dressing those kind of people, oh, you know, that kind of a thing? How did you break into the market?
My journey, I always say it's a God journey. It's a faith journey, purely faith. It's about faith. And also hard work and determination. I am one person who believes in doing what I need to do. I draw my strength from Ecclesiastes within 1:9 or 9:10, where it says, whatsoever your hand finds it to do, do it with all your might, with all your strength. Because where thou goest, there's no work. When I pass on, I will not work. I'll not have an opportunity to stitch or to serve a client. I'll be sleeping, you know. But when I am serving somebody, this is it. You know, I need to do it well. So that has been one of my belief from where I started, even as from the smallest place. All my clients will tell you Akinyi does her work properly. I didn't want to be that business owner or a fashion designer who just takes people's fabric or either doesn't give you back. I had to be the change that I wanted to see. If you bring your fabric and we've used 3 meters, we'll give you back the rest. You know, we're not going to steal and tell you, oh, Elisha, you know. So those are some of the things that we as a brand, I tried to build even as I was starting, and be consistent and being comfortable where I was. I didn't want to be like somebody else. I wasn't going to jump into a space that I'm not yet there. So I grew gradually. And one of the things that most of my clients tell me to today is that they admire the fact that they can tell my story. They're able to follow through from where you started to where you're going, and they can even say, you know what, Akinyi, you're such an encouragement because we have seen you grow. I didn't wake up one day and I'm successful. No. So it's a journey that can be followed through from start, and being consistent and doing the right thing at the right place, being ethical in all that we do. And of course the challenges are there. Sometimes you could get an order wrong or do something wrong, but you can always reach out and apologize and see a way of making it right. So for me, I wouldn't say that where I am today, I've been here on my own. I'd want to say that the clients that I had from start have been a bigger role to growing me where I am today. They kept giving me feedback. If it's something is not working, they tell me, Akinyi, this doesn't work, I don't like this, and then find a way of doing it. And what I've learned is that as you serve your clients and as you do your work the way you should do it, they refer people to you. They can vouch for you. Word of mouth is the most powerful tool to growing my business. I would say my clients from then, over 18 years ago, have been that fuel that propels my business, and the fact that your name can be called somewhere. I feel blessed that people can be talking at a place and say, who do you think can be able to do this? Say, I think go to Akinyi. It's because it's many years I've built that trust. I've been able to be consistent, however tough it is, and that has given people more confidence that Akinyi can be someone who can be trusted. We can refer business to her. Even when I'm dressing the who and who's in the world, it's because people speak on my behalf. I'm not there to knock those doors, and so it's my work that speaks for me. And because I deliver, then it just automatically falls in place. So I would encourage all of us that whatever you're doing, however small it is, do not despise the humble beginnings.
I trust what you're saying, because there's one thing we have a problem, especially at the youth, and I guess what the Ministry of Youth is trying to do right now is trying to encourage the youth to go into business where they can be able to also make money and all that. But there's one thing our youth have. They keep saying, you know what, hakuna kazi. You know, the other thing they would say is they want a white-collar job. The other thing they would say is, you know, government doesn't employ the youth and all that. What is it that one thing that you can tell the youth, like, that look here, I started when I was a youth, because I'm sure that you started when you were at that age. And here you are, you've built a brand. And here you are telling them, you know what, resilience. There's one thing I included would say, ule fundi najua mzuri ni kinyozi. You go sit there, have your hair done and be done. Because there's no day a fundi tells you, come for your dress tomorrow, and you go tomorrow and you find your dress. No, you find that you will go to a fundi and 2 weeks later they've not finished. And I know for one thing, you can't walk naked in this country. The other thing I keep telling people is that you can't, you know, you need an outfit. You need a wedding dress, you need a wedding gown. We are importing gowns. We're importing a lot of wedding gowns, yet I can see that from a few of your albums that you can be able to do a very good gown, you can be able to tell the African. And I think you said it very well. We are not able to tell our stories. We're not able to sell. I think what the Western world has done outside there is they're telling out their stories. For us, we've not been able to tell out our stories. So what is it that you can tell the youth to be persistent? Do they have to wait for a white-collar job, or do they just want to follow their passion and look, come even visit and see, oh, this actually is working?
That's a very interesting question, Damaris. One of the things that I say, and if you follow through almost all the interviews that I've been able to do, and speaking about the young people, they are close to my heart. I love young people, and I wouldn't want to dismiss them as people who are not focused and not working. What is lacking is mentorship and holding of hands. I think there's a generation of us who have started running, and we are running and not looking back and saying, who else can I hold their hand? And there's also a group of people who you can't even tell how they got where they got to. You just wake up one day, poof, they're there, and someone is rich and they have all these things, and you're like, okay, how did that happen? And then it's more glorified. You find that there's a lot of trend people who we can't even understand. How did they get their wealth? What is their journey? You can't even put their journey together, and that's what the youth are admiring. So then we are also sending a wrong signal and saying that, you know what, so long as you make it, doesn't matter how you're making it. Like, so long as you're able to take pictures with your big cars and you're flashing out money, nobody really cares where you got it. But I think as a nation we need to go back and ask ourselves, what example are we giving to our children? What example are we giving to our young people? So for the young people, I would always, everybody that I've been able to mentor, and they're very successful. One of the things that they will tell you, Akinyi is thorough, is tough. She doesn't mince her words. She will tell you what it is. And those who learn to stay around actually benefit. But those who feel it's too much, they run away, and it's good for them or bad for them. But the few that have been able to mentor and they're doing something with themselves, I can testify that the young people have potential. The young people is our, I would say, savior in a way. But we need to keep pushing it and telling them, you have to work. Even the Bible says, if you don't work, you don't deserve to eat. So if we keep saying that you can still eat without working, I think that's a wrong direction. So, and I tell young people, whether it is, like for me, I was doing sewing. And in my village, they will tell you, oh, anashonanga nguo huko Nairobi. You know the way it sounds. So kazi yake ni kushona nguo Nairobi. So it's am I going to also view myself as kazi yake is ni kushona nguo Nairobi, or am I looking at myself as a designer and positioning myself as an international brand? So that the change is you. You are the change you've been waiting for. And I always say, if I was chomaring mahindi choma, I would choma my mahindi and export that mahindi choma.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like, I would find how do I make it,
yes,
how do I
to a point
package
it
it,
can
how
go.
to, how
Yes.
that a cob of maize can sell even to 500 bob.
Yes.
I mean, I
like,
think it's
yes,
possible.
of course it's possible.
You know, I've seen in malls where the people, they're called corn something.
Yes, corn something. And they do that.
They sell the corn
and
then
it's just maize,
a
right?
little, it's maize. It's a little cup of maize and
Yes.
with some salt on it and butter, and then you pay 300 or 400 for it,
yes.
and it's okay. So why can't I sell you a cup of maize, nicely
Yes.
roasted, nicely packed at 500 and packed, and then the perception of locals believing that anything that is foreign is better, than anything that is local. So we need to change our mindset and believe in ourselves. And if I'm doing a mat, can I do those mats to the international standards?
Yes. Yes.
Can I do
and do it right?
Can I do that carving right?
Yes.
Can we just do things right? I mean,
I know.
we have
and
so
this
much
art
in Kenya.
industry, exactly.
We have so much.
And now let's go back to COVID season, where we are in a situation where we have to wear masks. Yeah. I know I've been one of those people. I wear a lot of your masks around. But now that we are, it is the norm. We must wear a mask everywhere. It's one of the things that will protect us from this COVID-19. And I know, so as Fashion Council, the Kenya Fashion Council, how has the government incorporated you into this mask business? Have they given you a chance to meet perhaps the CES or whoever it is in charge of the national response, so that you present what the Fashion Council is doing? Because we're told, yes, you can do this, yes, you can be able to give this, but do they believe that now that, of course, even the CES has said, let's stop importing the things, because even what we're importing is not standard. But here we are saying that you Fashion Council have come up together and you're doing such an amazing job to just make sure that the Kenyan outside there gets a mask, but at a very pocket-friendly price. Have you had a chance, or how has it been during this COVID season?
I think COVID has really created a shift for us personally as a business owner, and also as the chair of the Kenya Fashion Council. I would say that I actually committed from March till June and till July. I closed my business just to commit my time and energy to the Fashion Council in regard to attending meetings and just engaging the government and respective bodies that involves COVID. Immediately, people were shut down, weddings stopped. There was no wedding, there's no function, so it means businesses have to close. Designers didn't know what to do. Yeah. You have employees, you don't know what to do with them. And there was all this going on, the what needs to be done, keep distance, cough on your elbow. And we had a sitting and decided, why are we coughing on our elbows? We're already seeing other countries wearing masks. It's becoming a mandatory. So we felt that was a space that we could actually get in. And we went for a meeting at the meeting that was at the response team in barracks, those sides, Utawala. And there was this conversation, all the manufacturers were brought into one room, and there was a conversation going and saying, where can we get this thing? And I was shocked that most of the things that we have in Kenya are actually imported. Even the water for injection, we import. I'm like, don't we have water here? I mean, it was such a challenge for us and for me. And I thought, what are we going to? No flight is coming in. We need the PPEs are needed. So what are we going to do? So we had to quickly start thinking, what are we going to do? And I engaged with MoJ, and at some point I also booked an appointment with WHO and had to have a meeting and say, can we have the mask? So we pushed, and then there was the standardization with KEBS, which we had to also engage with Kenya Bureau of Standards in regard to getting the mark. The mark wasn't there. There was no standard for a public. I mean, it was just meetings and meetings and meetings, and finally Kenya Bureau of Standards was able to come up with a standard. And that also made me really see a lot of space and gaps that we need to play as citizens of Kenya, because sometimes we tend to think that is a government responsibility, but I think as citizens also we need to see where are we fitting in and how can we be part of the solutions that we have. And given that I'm also privileged to be one of the I mean, the technical committee of standards for clothing at KEBS, and I'm like, we need to be part of this. It's not something that you're being paid for, but as a citizen, I think it's my responsibility to be there and understand what is going on, and how then do we participate in what is happening. So COVID has really shifted a number of things, and we are glad that right now, designers were able to do some masks, or start creating PPEs, or start creating designs that people can wear from home. Maybe men are only wearing shirts because people could have shorts under, and then you're just seeing the top part. I mean, yes. It's a space that has shifted us, and we've seen a number of factories changing into PPEs, which is a good sign. And COVID has actually shown that tailors and designers, we are essential. Like, we are very essential.
I agree, because for a long time, of course, but we were looking at fundis as a fundi, as I said. Yeah. But when you come and think about it right now, you need a mask. Yeah, you need a PPE. Yeah, that means it has to be done by a fundi. Yeah. It cannot be done, it has to be done by a tailor. Yeah. And before it is done by a tailor, it has to be designed by a designer. Yeah. So meaning that it's one of the, and what I like about this thing, as much as they say COVID, I think in our own space, it has made us realize that we as Kenyans have a lot of potential. Yes. We can be able to do it. And it's equally very good, and it's shocking because immediately it came, I could see hawkers in town. We moved from umbrella. In 10 minutes, we were doing masks and masks locally made. Yeah. And I'm so excited because you can easily get it, at a very pocket-friendly price. And to be very honest, the Kenya Fashion Council has done an amazing job, because I see where we are going. But now, for a fundi who's out there, who doesn't know about the Kenya Fashion Council, who does not, for a youth who wants to join, perhaps, like, for example, in the public relations or the communications where I sit in, you have to be a member of a body, perhaps MSK, PRSK, etiquette and all that. You have to be a member of a body. And one of the things I look at nowadays, when they're employing there, you're told you have to be a member of this body, just so that it regulates you. So for that one tailor, that one designer, that one student who doesn't know about Kenya Fashion Council, how do I join? What do I do? What do they do, or how do they go about it?
For a long time, the industry, since independence, I would say, we've been working in silos. We've never had a body that is bringing the industry together. And for the first time, you're having this body that is bringing the industry together. So Fashion Council is not just for designers who are making clothes. It's a wider spectrum. We have education, we have accessories, and leather, we have hair and makeup, we have photographers, we have bloggers.
Under Fashion Council.
So it still falls under these are segments that are actually need to be. It's not just clothes, because we need we have fashion photographers, we have hair and makeup, and those are
let's go back to makeup.
Businesses on their own.
I'm shocked, because when you travel to a place like Nigeria, somebody is making an outfit, so much money out of it. Personally, part of the business I did sometimes back is I opened a studio. It's called a fashion makeup studio. But I never used to get clients or people coming to learn, because they said, oh, there's this culture we have that African Kenyan men love women natural and no beauty, no lipstick, no nothing. So I've seen Kenyans struggle in terms of this fashion, in terms of doing the makeup and all that. So the Fashion Council, what you mean is, it's not just outfits.
It's not just outfit. For us, we were looking at a body that is able to cut across. Even for tailors, they may not be able to pay membership, maybe individual membership, or probably they're not even registered businesses yet, because we have more registered businesses come along. So we have Association of Tailors, who is a member of the council. Then it means the tailors can be members of Tailors Association of Kenya, because they are members. They become a member of the council. There's an association for tailors, where I think the membership, they pay 300 shillings to join. If you compare it to the 25,000 for individual designers, it would be much expensive for a tailor to pay. So but then now they would pay as an association to the council. The hair and beauty we'd love to have
under.
Yes, the hair.
Because I remember sometimes back we were trying to do hair and fashion beauty awards. It ended after 3 years, and I was shocked, because the hair and beauty industry, is the 16% GDP. It brings 16% to the country. But it's not allocated as one. As I said, it's one of those things that people think when you get a D or an E is when you are just sent there. But we've come to realize that it's actually something, because I'm shocked, you need your hair done. I mean, you need your hair. And is this part of the people who are, for example, the ones who are now coming up with all this new, you know, the makeup in the industry here in Kenya, this mafutas, shea butter and all these things, do they also fall under this?
They should fall. They actually are under this. The other challenge would be that because the Fashion Council, we are a body that is not here, has not been here for long, so we hadn't launched officially to now be public and tell people we do exist. We were supposed to launch on 3rd of April, and then COVID happened, and CS Betty was going to be our guest, the guest of honor in Ministry of Industrialization. But then COVID happened and everything was cancelled. So we found ourselves jumping into work even before people officially know who we are. So, but I'm glad that during COVID we've been able to at least push a number of things. We had a discussion, we've had conversations with the Kenya Revenue Authority because they had done the TOT, which was at 3%, then we were arguing, can we make it at 1%? And finally it was done at 1%.
Oh, nice.
For the first time we have the budget, the Kenyan budget, having fashion and design in the budget. I mean, never been there before.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask.
Some of the achievements. And also just have the beauty remission, and, zero rated on our inputs, which we are trying to convert. So there's a lot of change happening, and all these are happening during this COVID. And that's what I say, that most of the time I actually sacrifice to do council work for that reason. Now I'm starting now to get back to work and figure out what can I do for my businesses. But I'm glad where we're at. We are currently even featuring designers across Kenya. We've partnered with Brand KE. We are doing documentaries on to educate the public on what is done locally, where can you find the designers, what are the processes, because we're also trying to push Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, and just so can we support our own industry. So
thank you very much for watching and subscribing to Walk the Talk Show. This is where we do real stories and real time. You've had a lot. I'm shocked, I'm impressed what I'm wearing today. As you can see, it's a patchwork. I didn't know it's called that, but today I've learned so much. See, perhaps I may stand.
Yeah, so we don't throw away our waste.
You don't throw away the waste. So what happens is everything is put into use. You can see how it's done, and it's an international brand. Don't forget about it. And what I wanted to advise all of us is buy Kenya, build Kenya. And the other thing is, if you're a fashion designer out there and you haven't joined the Kenya Fashion Council, I encourage you to join it. And now that I've learned that Fashion Council is not just about the outfits, in my head I was thinking, and I'm sure you are thinking about that as well. But here we are, so you can log into their website, get to know all the details, or you can also chat Akinyi on her page. I'm sure they have a page, Kenya Fashion Council, and just check, get to know much each other. I know my niece wants to join the fashion industry. I know for sure that is going to happen, but I encourage you, and let's build Kenya. Let's all support this Kenyan initiative. This COVID has taught us so much. It has brought a lot, and I mean a lot of talent outside there. So thank you so much. Remember to subscribe, and remember that we need you to keep safe. Remember to wear a mask, and remember to wear a mask made from Kenya. Thank you very much, and God bless you.